excited because we had a project this time last year, called Love Acton. We were asked as part of the Out of London Fund project in Ealing, in Acton, to improve the town centre. We were asked to get involved in helping get that more community involvement and engagement in that whole town centre redevelopment. So we've got a lot of people involved, uploading art and energised about this. So that was a really exciting start to what became this venture. Because it's working with the Acton Traders Association and the local authority economic regeneration, there was good support for this to evolve into this gallery space. An empty 8 years, I think it was empty for, doing nothing very much. George and Jagger were keen to improve Acton Town Centre and get more vibrancy and cultural arts and cultural activity going on. So it was a wonderful opportunity for us. I think having the different exhibitions with different artists getting involved has sort of meant that people can get involved in different kind of ways. So the Affordable Art Fair exhibition was, I think, the best example of really open. It was like a shop. The gallery became a shop during that time. People come in and buy work, and it became a place with new art. There was a shop element to it where you could buy cards and crafts and jewellery and small things, so people could come in and just easily buy gifts and original artwork in their area. And as the only gallery in Acton, it was nice to have in Acton and in Ealing.
I think it's really a great feedback from everybody. I thought it's more about different artists. They want to come in, they can't, or sometimes it was a bit of frustration. But now I think it's okay. People just realize how it's working, that we could have how to say, democratic exhibition, what our the Affordable Art exhibition was, with 55 local artists, and also Mark exhibition was really like fine art exhibition, really impressive, no?
This is my exhibition, Sentience. These 4 paintings, these were done as a group, and it's called Monkeys and Men, and it was I've used Tibetan mandalas and a Jain map of the cosmos to show different ways of thinking of human consciousness, and I put them next to animals to ask the question about how our consciousness and animal consciousness, what it has in common, and, as well as the differences. And this painting is about the afterlife. It's an ancient Egyptian idea that before you could cross from this life into the next life, across the Styx, you were asked 2 questions. Did you bring joy and did you find joy? And so that. And these 2 again are about the complexity of the natural world and underlying harmony and geometry, which is at the basis of the structure of all life. And again, I used Tibetan mandalas again, and I was just experimenting with different ideas, putting birds in flight on top of them. I just thought I like the juxtaposition of the two ideas. This is a nightjar, a mysterious bird that lives on heathland and comes out, flies around at dusk and at night, and just it's very evocative of kind of wild pine woods and heathland.
This event actually marks something of a historical event, because that history has been going now for over 10 years, and through the development of Rachel and Acton Community Forum, and I think that this is actually so nice to have it on the High Street as one of the first, and it's been 2 exhibitions before this, but one of the first sort of like definitely cultural exhibitions that we have. So thank you again.
And he saw my name and said, "Are you Mr. Bano, the one who was taking photographs in the 60s, and this and this? Are you this brother of so and so? I am so and so. I used to be your mother." I said, and I poured all her pictures. I had them, I poured them on the net, and then people started commenting. Oh, we didn't know, because nobody knew who the contributor is. Anybody who's writing is just writing by name, but nobody knew. And I was producing names to the images. When they talk about Nkrumah, then I produce a picture of Nkrumah. When they talk about this, and then that's what I did. And so I started pouring her pictures, and they started praising her. So she wrote to me asking me for the copies. When you said you didn't want it to be published. Today, if I made a large copy of this for her and signed it, she would like it.
Got 3 paintings, 2 of which are of street musicians, or otherwise known as buskers. One of which is standing next to me. It's called Robbie, and I've known him for some time, and I usually try and paint people that I know in some way or have some connection to.
I think it's really easy and accessible because people can just pop in at the gallery, talk to our volunteers, and they are really happy to inform about that. And sometimes I had people who just talk and already know the volunteers, so because they talk so long time, say, yeah, Peter, or yeah, Marcus was really nice. And so we're starting, sometimes they don't even come for volunteering with the idea to volunteer, and after they just go back with a 2 submission, volunteer and artist. So it's quite good. No, I think our volunteers are really a good team, and really enjoying volunteering at the gallery. So.
Those are my brother's pieces.
And Jermaine McLeod, who's coming in later.
Yeah, he'll be coming as well. Marcy, I'm not sure if she'll be coming.
She is.
She's coming.
She's been just gone out.
Yes.
Okay.
Gosh, there's an awful lot of work, community development work. So, in terms of the arts, though, I mean, it's working with Cecile. They've got a public art debate coming up on 2 weeks ago or so.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a walk happening that came out of that debate. People were so interested. Okay, there's public art, but what about Acton? What we've got here? Well, we've actually identified 15 or small bits of public art in Acton.
This is Apple. If you haven't been here before, this used to be the public toilets in Acton Park. And we took it over in 2003 and we've converted it into a sort of activity centre. We work with children and young people, all sorts of ages, and we do practically everything. We cook, we garden, we do sport, but we do a lot of art, as you can see.
Well, I'm a sculptor based in Acton, and I was in contact with Rachel, and we were talking about doing a piece, a storytelling area, so we could do local history projects. And one thing and another sort of gathered momentum, and the Black History Month project, which their tree commemorating is over there, were looking for some sort of vehicle to communicate stories within their community and outside of it. And it seemed to fit the bill very much from ideas myself and Rachel were talking about. So working with Apple and the young people there and the elders from the Black History community came down and told stories, which we then transferred into images which have been carved on the seats there.
We have work afternoons here from 2 till 4 o'clock. We are looking for people to get involved. There's a possibility that you could have growing space as well if you want to grow food. So that's every Friday from 2 till 4 here, that you can just turn up.
Right, the artist who led on this, and some of the clay pots. If you look above the Trade Union Club, towards the white flat next to it where it says restaurant, you'll see one of the, I think it's supposed to be 10 clay pots eventually.
This was put out for competition to see who wanted to create something here, and he won the bid simply because his work enabled other bits of art to be displayed in, as well as standing up in its own right. So it kind of reflects something about his experiences behind bars as a political prisoner, but the reflection that you can see in the life that you can see, the hope that there is the kind of story behind it.
When I first talked to Rachel and Cecilia, they said the only thing is we'd like a very different exhibition. We don't want all oil paintings. So that was the criteria. So then I started getting different people together of the same genre, whatever they do in the art world. And then it came out, it developed, and we called it Contrasts, which we've tried to, whatever medium they're working in, contrasting the artists and their work. Very simple. She generates this on a free app on the iPad. It's brilliant. And she generates the drawings on there. She then prints them digitally. In this case, because it was for an exhibition on canvas, but you can do it on anything. Total contrast with print mediums, yeah?
This was made in 2004. We had a fun day in South Acton, and he came along and created it with local people watching as it evolved. So that was a really positive thing. Sadly, he died a couple of years ago. So, I mean, this is a real sort of, memory of Chris. He also did a piece on the youth club, which was his last piece actually, on Bodybook Youth Club. So local people, a lot of the young kids know him and, still kind of refer back to his work. So this is Chris's work that was kind of reflecting Acton Community Forum and, helping to bring this place alive with a bit of colour and life. That's Chris.
For the last 10 years I've been mosaicing it. A lot has been done with Mark over there as well, and a lot of it was done with volunteers over periods of time. But this panel here was made in memory of a friend of mine who was on death row in Texas, who was someone I wrote to for 5 years. So it was for my pen pal, and it was made in memory of him. And on his birthday, a year after he was executed, his mother, his sister and his girlfriend, they all flew in from Texas, and we covered it all up and unveiled it, and we closed down the street and had a party. This was made in memory of a friend of mine that was executed again in Texas, I witnessed their execution and made this truck in memory. It was commissioned by Manchester for the first ever art car parade, and so this went in the first ever art car parade. It won Best Decorated, and it went through the streets with about 45,000 people watching as it drove through on its first ever journey. It's since been to, this gets me into all my festivals for free. It's amazing to have a community gallery, a gallery where you can do things that are experimental, that are political, that have meaning, that normally galleries are by nature, they're having to sell their commercial spaces, but this is a community gallery and it's there for the community to come and make use of.
I must say that the sort of social side of stuff is fabulous. I mean, we have a lot of those evenings where we have the private views and the soirees, the closing and openings of the exhibitions, and they're really informal, but a lovely way for the artists to come and sort of talk about their work and meet people, invite their sort of guests. We often have music as part of that, so there'll be live music usually at those events. Really nice atmosphere and just that energy.
Good memory, and maybe after the events at the pub, talking with the artists, and having good discussion, like how to change the world, how to change Acton. This is really good, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.